There will be spoilers ahead. Lots of spoilers, so be careful, won't you?
All right, mamas and daddies, unwind your minds and rethread your heads. Get ready to round down on the sound so profound. We got stacks of wax with mind-bending tracks, and that's the facts. I'm your impresario with no braggadocio. I say so and you say so, and we're putting down some pure gold for you to pick up from that purveyor of pandemonium, Tyler Stewart, who's gone and tossed us a shiny nugget from the minds of, remember, you asked for it, deep in the kingdom of Max Mike Movies, where it behooves you to get the groovies on the movies and stay away from the coloovies. We're strumming the strings that sings like Sting. Don't search for that on Bing, 'cause it's six-string samurai that's caught my roving eye. And whose eye am I? I'm Max the Hairy Thunderer, the ringleader of New Englander, the beast from the Northeast, and rockin' right along with me is the best of the Midwest, the saint of paint, the broadcaster of wet plaster, Mike the manganese manatee loose. Show them the power of your rockin', Mike.
Coloovies?
It's a real word. It means a collection or gathering as of rubbish or odds and ends or rabble.
Is it really?
It really is.
You've hurt me. Literally.
Then my work here is done.
I wish it were.
But before we get to our real work, we have our poll question.
Poll question. Wolf Mild Max, that's what it is.
That's what was that? What that was in my breakfast cereal this morning? That's the question.
Cookie Crisp.
Cookie Crisp.
See, I told you.
We wanted to know, what is your favorite Sean Connery performance? Mine, of course, is Celebrity Jeopardy. Suck it, Trebek.
Suck it long, suck it hard.
I forget the rest, but your mother's a whore. Harriet Roberts, much more civilized, says, literally any Bond movie or Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Okay, that's a lot, but yeah.
What's 8 or 9 movies? Keith
Wright also chimes in with his James Bond movies and The Untouchables. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
He does, surprisingly, does a very convincing Irish accent.
Really?
Yep. Huh. From the frozen Northlands, even almost as far north as Scotland. Ha ha ha! Vince, master of all Scottish penguins, says, Zardoz for the costumes. Thank you for bringing in Zardoz, Vince.
No, he wasn't alone.
And Darby O'Gill and the Little People for him looking so young and cute. But I find his small role in Time Bandits really sort of touching as substitute dad for the main character. I just think he brought something to that role another actor might not have. That's actually a really interesting one where he plays Agamemnon. Huh. Nice one, Vince. Tyler Stewart simply says, Robin and Marion. Sitting in a tree.
Wait, which one did he play?
He was. I'm not sure. He might have been wearing the dress. So.
Maybe he did both. Ooh, range.
Dave says, hunt for Red October for sure. He gave off awesome Russian vibes, even if perhaps his accent was not particularly Russian. It really highlights his range as an actor. I love him in everything, even Highlander 3. At least you didn't say Highlander 2.
No, I'm sorry, that's no better.
Is he in Highlander 3?
I didn't think he was, but maybe he shows up as a ghost like Ben Kenobi or something.
Oh, maybe. George Saulnier also chimes in for Zardoz.
Why?
I guess people love that red Speedo.
It's not a Speedo, it's a diaper.
You say tomato, I say, oh God, no. Nick Hoffman says, honestly, would have to be Robin and Marion. Hey, another vote for that. And, of course, the expert in all things Tatum, Richard Tatum, says, I do love him in Zardoz, but probably The Untouchables. And, of course, my funny Valentine.
Your what? Don't call me that on the air.
Not you, Doris Hempelmeyer.
Oh, yeah.
Cupid, draw back your bow, has this to say.
Hi, Max Mike Movies. Hi, Max. This is Doris Himpelmeyer here to answer your question, what is my favorite Sean Connery movie? I could say, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, because I like that one. And I could say Darby O'Gillis and the Little People, because that would be a funny thing to say. But I'm going to say Robin and Marion. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, when Robin and Marion are older and they finally get to be in love and do their thing. It's very sweet and it's very romantic. And considering the fact it's that time of year, the time of year when Cupid draws his bow and sticks it in a bunch of chocolates, I think that's a good answer. So that's what I'm going with. Max, would you be my Robin to my Marion? Maybe. I think about it sometimes. Hope you think about it too. Looking forward to hearing the next episode. Bye.
I would always be the Robin to your Marion, even if it was the Robin Williams to your Marion Barry.
Or Marion, Marion Ross. There you go.
Oh, Marion the Librarian.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We got another for Robin and Marion. Intriguing.
Yeah. I've actually never seen it. Is it any good?
I don't know. I've never seen it either.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it Katharine Hepburn? No. Or is that Lion in Winter? That's Lion in Winter.
It's Lion in Winter. It was, I can't remember who plays Marion.
I'm just having trouble picturing Sean Connery opposite Katharine Hepburn. I mean,
I don't think he did.
Oh, who's in Lion in Winter? Oh, it's
Peter O'Toole.
Peter O'Toole. That I can see. I was just thinking Katharine Hepburn and Sean Connery, you just wipe the mat with him.
Yeah, that's the problem. Peter O'Toole at least is bombastic enough to hold his own.
Do you mean drunk?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He is an excellent actor. Don't get me wrong.
He is.
And he keeps showing up, and I keep thinking he's dead. I don't think he's dead yet. I think he's still alive.
Peter O'Toole?
Yeah.
No, I think he died a little while ago. I'm not positive. But who, by the way, what is your favorite Sean Connery performance?
Oh, he did. I'm going to go with Last Crusade. The reason is, of all of his performances, do I like him in the Bond films? Of course I do. I mean, I grew up on him in the Bond films, and of the early Bonds, he was easily my favorite, because the other one was mushy and squishy, and you would poke him, and he was moist. I think that he did a fine job for what was needed. I do like him in Hunt for Red October, even though Russian wouldn't have been my first guess. I didn't know the Scottish had their own nuclear submarine fleet, but I suppose it's possible.
They're powered entirely by haggis.
Ooh, I love haggis. But I honestly think that The Last Crusade is the first time I saw him play something other than just Sean Connery. I'm not saying that he hasn't in other films, because I haven't seen Robin and Mary and stuff like that, but he had a sense of humor. That doesn't come out much. Mostly he just beats you up. Yo, tell me what I need to know. Oh, good. Now I'm going to go and find that guy and take him down.
And then makes a bad pun, yes.
Yeah. So I liked him as Dad, and I thought he and Harrison Ford had real chemistry because, in a way, they're very much the same kind of actor. Neither one of them has a lot of breath.
Very craggy.
Both of them give you that man's man kind of vibe. Both of them feel like they don't take a lot of crap from people. And I thought they got along great. So I'm going to go with Last Crusade. But what about you, as it was my question?
Well, I also like him in Hunt for Red October, and I really liked him in The Untouchables. But the one that always stands out for me is when he plays William of Baskerville in The Name of the Rose. I really liked him as the sort of Sherlock Holmes monk.
Wait, wasn't that Seal song?
No, that's Kiss from a Rose.
That's
Kiss from a Rose, such as Seal.
Okay.
Yeah,
neat.
I like him. I think he also has a sense of humor. He's got this sort of quiet dignity about him. I don't think that's a great movie, but I think he does a really nice job in it.
Huh. This is also not a great film by any means, but I did like him in Rising Sun, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because it's a goofy film. It is not a good movie.
I just thought he was grouchy the whole time.
Well, of course he's grouchy, but he's pretending that he knows anything about Japanese culture, and he obviously doesn't. He obviously didn't know it in You Only Live Twice either, but at least he doesn't put on his little slanty eyelids and, try to... Yeah. Yeah, that was so embarrassing.
Yeah, that was kind of painful.
But
Okay.
and that's Wesley Snipes, I think, too. I like the fake mixing of cultures and the very late 80s, early 90s-ishness of the film. It's probably not worth seeing, but there's something I liked about it. I kind of liked something about, I don't know.
Okay.
I just remembered it.
That's
Let's
cool.
put it that way. Let's say I remember the film. Let's not say I like the film. Let's say I remember it.
Memorable.
These days,
Okay.
that's actually a big deal.
But these were all good answers, such as they
Yeah.
were. Thank you very much. And we want more of them because the hunger consumes us, and only poll question answers can sate it even for a moment.
I've never seen that either.
Yeah, I never seen Sate It Even for a Moment.
No, The Hunger.
Oh, The Hunger. Simple. It stars Homer Simpson. Ooh, more donuts, please.
That's not even close.
But I want to know, what is your favorite What If This Happened alternative history movie? Yeah, there aren't a lot of those, but there are some, and I've got a couple I really like, so I want to see what other people do. But
Alternative history movies.
yeah.
Can you give me an example?
What if this one, the movie we just saw, in this idea, there was a nuclear war in 1957.
Okay. Just have to figure out how to phrase it on the website.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it fits in the little box and it makes sense. Oh, and thank you all for your great answers.
I already did that.
But I didn't.
They only need it from me.
You can just go off with your little Doris, and I'll take care of the rest of the show. Thanks.
Ah, Little Doris, one of my favorite Dickens novels.
Yeah.
But now, the facts. Budget. Oh dear. $2 million.
That much, huh?
Yeah.
Oops.
How much it made? 146,000.
You mean
So-
above its budget? Like that's what it
No,
brought.
I mean
profit. That was,
globally.
wow. I can't
Yeah.
believe I significantly added to that.
Yeah. This, by the way, was intended to be the first of a trilogy.
How?
And hold on to your hat. It didn't happen. Oh.
I don't even have a hat. Here, now I'll hold on to this. Now I have a hat. I am holding on to it.
Well done.
Cool.
The squashed de-anamorphic effect on the opening title sequence is an homage to years of VHS full-screen movies that had their widescreen titles similarly squashed. Many
Really?
projectionists have mistakenly swapped out their lenses in the middle of this sequence. Ironically, the video version of this movie is letterboxed, although the cable version was not.
Well, yeah, that was one of my first notes, as in WTF.
Jeffrey Falcon, who plays Buddy, did all of his own stunts with no wires and no special effects. This movie was only filmed on the weekends because the kid, Justin McGuire, had to go to school during production,
Okay.
and they couldn't afford an on-set tutor. It's fairly clear, I don't even know why this counts as trivia, that Buddy is implied to be the rock and roll legend Buddy Holly.
Wait, what?
Yes,
I
because
totally didn't get that. I don't know what you're making that up.
Yeah. There are those who argue that Buddy Holly could have been a bigger star than Elvis if he hadn't died so young. I'm not sure because, quite honestly, if you look at pictures of Buddy Holly, it does matter. And Elvis was gorgeous. He was a very good-looking guy. Buddy Holly's kind of funny-looking.
He's kind of funny looking.
Yeah, kind of funny-looking. But I think as a songwriter, he would have blown him out of the water. However, the band with the nice shoes are the Red Elvises, who are featured throughout the film's soundtrack. We'll get back to that.
Yep.
The large triangular string instrument that one of the band members is playing is an electric balalaika. I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either.
All of the music, like I say, is done by the Red Elvises and by a fellow named Brian Tyler. Yes, who is best known really for, he's done a ton of movie, TV, and video game scores, including the entire Fast and the Furious franchise,
Oh.
Alien vs. Predator Requiem, Rambo, the Expendables trilogy, Iron Man 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, and Crazy Rich Asians.
You know what? I'm glad somebody came out of this film and did well. Oops.
Yeah. The Tiger Claw Soviet soldier towards the end of the film is Jeffrey Falcon's brother Noel.
I'm guessing it's Noel.
Probably, but it's spelled Noel. It's just NOE. There's no L. The
Oh,
ruins of an
no.
18...
No, I wonder if he grew up to be a doctor.
That could be. The ruins of an 1890s bank, which is seen at about 6 minutes 35 seconds, are located in Nevada. They were also used in another classic movie, Michael Bay's The Island.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Do you remember the Mystery Science Theater movie Parts, the Clonus Horror?
I know of it. I don't remember that well.
That's it.
Oh.
In fact, the guy ended up suing Bay because it's the same movie.
Oh.
Yeah, it really is. I was kind of stunned.
Well, with a title like Parts the Clonus Horror, how could you possibly... Never mind.
It's another one of those. It's kind of an interesting concept. It's also, the cast is amazing. It's Ewan McGregor, Scarlett Johansson, Sean Bean, who actually lives past the first 3 scenes, Steve Buscemi.
This is Parts the Clonus Horror?
No, this is The Island.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, Parts the Clonus Horror stars almost no one. The director of this movie, Lance Mungia, has directed about 9 movies, the only one of which I ever heard was a straight-to-DVD movie called The Crow, Wicked Prayer, which is one of the unofficial sequels to The Crow. The soundtrack, if you're interested, has 31 tracks on it, all by Brian Tyler and the Red Elvises. That's pretty much it. There's not a lot of trivia about this movie.
How odd.
It did not do well. It has hung around as a semi-cult movie. I don't think it ever really, from what I've seen, it ever really achieved cult status, but it has a small but dedicated following.
There might be a reason for that, and perhaps we'll talk about it.
Yes.
An aeroplane flew. How's very strange.
Yes. But now we get to the Plotty McPlotface.
Good luck. Actually, this should be quick.
It's the post-apocalyptic past. Yes, in this version of the world, nuclear fire ravaged the planet when the Russians invaded the good old US of A in 1957. Following the war, Elvis Presley became the king of Las Vegas. Okay, so that part of history tracks. But now, the king is dead. Long rock the king. But who will be the new king? A small army of guitar-playing rockers who are also deadly swordsmen descend on Las Vegas to try to claim the crown. Sounds weird? Ha! Read the accounts of the duel between Blade Master Mark Knopfler and the Lord of Swords Freddie Mercury if you doubt the idea of those who are masters of sword and axe. It's true, don't look it up. Anyway, our hero is Buddy, the man with no last name, wielder of a katana that he obviously hates because he keeps sticking it blade first into the ground, and a fabulous electric guitar that he obviously loves and never sticks into the ground. His love for it is so powerful that he can play it fully amped without actually plugging it into anything. Because shut up. Anyway, Buddy comes across an orphaned little boy who he cleverly calls Kid. Kid is apparently a master mechanic and possesses the most obnoxious whine voice on Earth, leading the audience to pray for something heavy to fall on him. Together, this unlikely pair must brave the wasteland, fighting off superfluous marauders from the Mad Max franchise, cannibalistic suburbanites, and a cult of windmill worshippers. Not to mention assorted sword-wielding musicians, including the dark and terrifying Top Hat.
Boo.
He's also known simply as Death, because it's kind of hard to be menaced by someone called Top Hat, even if he is backed by some sort of heavy metal version of ZZ Top. Can Buddy and the Kid make it through this hellscape so that Buddy can assume the crown of Gondor or whatever, aided only by Buddy's martial arts skill and the power of rock? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Damn it, what comes next? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Let's
It
talk
usually
about
comes
the
in
movie.
around 13. Ooh, that's a deeper.
The film. Yeah, I don't know that one.
Wow, I'm surprised your encapsulation was that long.
It's not a long movie. The movie's about 90 minutes.
Well, I know, but I think you're, how shall I put this? Padding the plot a bit? Because, anyway.
Well, it's a hero's quest. You know, it's pretty straightforward.
Sure. Yeah. the cast is not going to take any time at all. I think in all the movies we have ever covered on Max Mike Movies, I have never seen a cast so bereft of photos on IMDb.
Yeah, there's like 3.
And one of them's just a voice.
Yeah. One of them, of course, Jeffrey Falcon, plays Buddy. He's actually a pretty good martial artist, which you would not know from how badly he's shot.
Well,
he did about a
let's
dozen
get
other
to the
movies.
cinematography later, but
this is one of the first movies where his character actually has a name. The
What?
other ones he's in, he's usually thug, right-hand man, sword-wielding guy.
I mean,
You know,
let's get this out of the way. The dubbing in this film is dreadful.
Yeah,
Everybody
it's not very
is
good.
looped, and they all sound terrible. He sounds the worst. I mean, I don't know if he gave more of a performance on the quote-unquote set, but the overdub, for one thing, his voice is kind of high and nasally, which
Yeah.
isn't helping him be a hero. But I found it
on
very
the plus
distracting.
side, he doesn't talk much.
No, on the plus side. I mean, as a martial artist, I'm guessing he's probably pretty good. We just can't tell most of the time.
As you said, we'll get to that.
There's not much of his part though. There's like he's an icon. He's not really a character.
He's the man with no name, you know. He's the
Sure.
he's Yojimbo. He's that guy.
Yeah,
Guy
but
comes.
everybody else we've seen do that, how to put this, has done it better.
Man, they've got more presence, more personality. He doesn't have a lot of that.
No.
And we got Justin McGuire, the kid, who
All right.
exists.
I want to go right out now and say that there was directorial choices made that I do not understand and cannot understand. And that is, for the first half of the movie, the kid does not say a single word. All he does is this. And
Peanut.
I wanted him dead as soon as possible. That is that I want wine that children have that parents become immune to, and other people, either with or without kids, want to strangle. And where he might have been a sympathetic character in some respect, because I guess he loses his parents in the beginning of the film,
We assume.
I can't stand that noise. I hate that noise. And then it turns out later in the film, he can actually talk just fine. He's just
he just
chosen to
didn't.
go,
I mean, I guess the idea is he's supposed to be in trauma, but we don't really get that.
No. And then he becomes excellent with mechanics, which, okay, I guess. I don't know any reason why that should make sense. But again, I can't blame him for that. I think a lot of his performance is probably the fault of the director. I can't judge him as an actor because he doesn't really act. He's just a kid. And he's just sort of stumbling around the movie making noise.
Yeah.
To be fair, he didn't really do much else after this. So, but yeah, mostly I found him just incredibly annoying.
There are other people in this, I mean, but most of them are only in it for like a scene.
Yeah.
You know, there's George Casillas, who plays Mariachi,
Oh, yeah.
who starts off, you get the feeling he's going to be like the kid in Magnificent Seven, the wannabe fighter guitarist who follows the hero around. And except in this case, he follows the hero around and the hero kills him.
Yeah, I'm glad he was there. I mean, he was
Yeah,
fine, I guess.
Well, he didn't do anything. It's hard to tell. The only person in this who has any kind of real career after this is a guy named Lex Lang, who does the voice of Death/Top Hat.
No.
And he is a pretty accomplished voice actor with over 400 credits.
No, wait, isn't he the son of Lex Luthor and Lana Lang?
Yes, he is.
Ah,
Yep.
so he's got superpowers.
They don't
Super voice
talk
powers.
about that. Yep. No, his main superpower all went into having hair.
I mean, good for him. Okay, sure. I mean, let's face it, the villain is Slash from Guns N' Roses. That's who he is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even though I think this might have been pre-Slash, I'm not sure. No, 98.
98?
Yeah, there would have been nugs and sores by then. He's fine, I guess. It's not.
He's
much-
all right. I mean, again, it's not like he has a lot to do.
No, nobody does.
No.
No, the highlight of this movie is sand. There's a lot of sand.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough, and it gets into everything.
I can't have sand in my underpants. So, yeah, there's a cast, and they're there.
They exist.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So did you see this when it came out?
I have never heard of this movie before Tyler suggested it.
Oh.
How about you?
Yeah. My partner
You saw it.
I did see it. So I'm one of the few people who helped contribute to that $140,000 deficit.
Oh dear.
Yeah. No, I don't even remember where or how we went. We just did. And what's even more interesting, strangely enough, because I think what happened was we didn't become huge fans of the film, but we liked the Red Elvises. And we were vacationing in Key West at one point and found out the Red Elvises were playing at a bar called the Green Parrot. So we went and saw the Red Elvises. And I'm guessing they were fun. There's a lot of drinking on Key West, if you know what I mean.
No.
Yeah.
It's known as such a sober, conservative place.
Oh, and the worst place to go is a place called Irish Kevin's. Do not go to Irish Kevin's unless you like to drink a lot. So, I got to see the Red Elvises at some point, and I think they were fun. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Oh my God, I hate that when you get flashes, because I'd forgotten which the Green Parrot was. The Green Parrot was one of the bars that was actually off the main drag and more of a local place. Now I remember the Green Parrot and seeing the Red Elvises. Okay. So, yeah, we saw it. Haven't seen it since.
I got to say, when I first see Buddy, I know he's supposed to be Buddy Holly. My first thought is it's Elvis Costello with a katana.
Yeah, because let's face it, I think Elvis was pulling some of that Buddy Holly stuff, too.
A little bit. He was doing that sort of nerd rocker look.
Yeah. I'm not a fan either, but I know he is an exceedingly accomplished songwriter.
Yeah.
So I got confused, even though there is what is it? It's not a monologue. It's a
voiceover.
Is it a voiceover? Or do they have it written? Because I remember reading.
No, they had a little bit of an opening scroll, and I think then they also had a narrator.
And I got confused because it never occurred to me that he was actually supposed to be Buddy Holly. I thought that he was he was my hero, so I'm going to take on the persona of Buddy Holly, but I think he's actually supposed to be him.
So, the kid or
no,
Buddy?
Buddy.
Oh, okay.
Like, I thought he was just like, I'm going to dress like Buddy Holly, but no, it's because
I think he's supposed to be Buddy Holly.
Yeah, I mean,
if it's late 1950s, he'd be a little older than this, but he'd still be around.
Well, because they said that the war happened in 1957, and then that's when Las Vegas became owned by the Russians, I guess, which makes sense, sure. And the king of rock and roll was Elvis, although I guess Elvis didn't last very long because it's not like Buddy's old, and Buddy Holly and Elvis must have been close to the same age. Whatever. Why am I nitpicking about that? Who cares?
I have no idea. I mean, Holly died in 1959.
Right, but that was in a plane crash, so.
Yep. But if this is obviously, like I say, an alternate history where that didn't happen.
Right. I had a couple of warning signs when the film started. The first was that annoying habit that Hollywood has of making us watch these endless streams of company logo animation things.
Ah, yes.
And we only had two, but they were for Palm Pictures and HX Films.
Ah, of course. HX Films, classics. Who the hell's HX Films?
I'm going to say this is it. I don't know that,
but
yeah. At least they had a .com address, which at 98 was actually kind of
pretty
full.
hip.
Yeah. And then the next thing we see, stock footage.
Yep.
The stock footage of nuclear explosions, which has been used countless times in countless pictures since it was shot in the 40s and 50s, probably. I don't know about you. Those are usually warning signs to me. Production companies I've never heard of before and stock footage.
The production companies, that's not as much a warning to me. Sometimes you never know where something good is going to come from, but stock footage is often a red flag.
Yeah. I see what you did there. Red flag? Oh.
I don't get it. So the setup is actually kind of interesting. I like the idea. It's a power vacuum. People are coming in. It's just all immediately when you see the fact that this guy is carrying a friggin' guitar, an electric guitar plugged into nothing, and a sword, then you go, okay, I don't think I'm supposed to take this that seriously.
I don't think you are either. I think this is meant to be... Well, all right. So one of my notes was this is sort of Mad Max meets Tank Girl, and I know that Tank Girl hasn't happened yet, but yes, it has, because I saw that when I was still in Boston. So, and I think with Tank Girl, she's not really that much of a character. She's meant to be more of an icon, and I think that that's what's going on here. This is meant to be hey, you know what? Just like loosen your mind, man, and like sit back and enjoy the fun.
Yep.
Did you sit back and enjoy the fun? Well, we shouldn't get to that till the end.
Yes.
That weird anamorphic lens thing in the I'm glad you explained that in the trivia, because I'm like, why does this look so bad?
Yeah.
Why are all the angles squished and it's a tribute to VHS? Really? Why would you do that?
Don't know.
I don't either.
You can really see a lot of the influences in this. Obviously, there's a lot of Mad Max.
Oh, yeah.
But there's also things, I kept thinking of the Warriors when you kept seeing, or at least I thought it was going to be like that, because he kept running into what looked like teams. First there's the Red Elvises, and then there's the Pin Pals, who are a brutal group of skinhead bowlers, who, by the way, have stolen their name from The Simpsons.
Well, which came first, though?
I'm not sure. It was very early in The Simpsons where Homer forms a bowling team called the Pin Pals.
Oh. I mean, okay. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have known it. I'm betting most people wouldn't have known it, but
I just kept expecting one of them to start yelling, "F you, Lebowski! F you! This is what happened when you F with the Jesus!"
I thought that was going to be more or less the flavor of the film, right? So he's trying to get to Las Vegas because once he gets there, he is so good at his rocking, he will ascend to the throne of King of Rock and Roll in Las Vegas. But I assume that there are other people out trying to do the same thing, and they're going to try and stop him. The Pin Pals just don't seem to like him.
Yeah, they're just sort of, you are there. It's very Shaw Brothers. You exist. Let's fight.
And they pull out of their bowling bags. What the hell was it wasn't bowling balls.
Oh, yeah, they were pins.
Oh, that's right.
Full-size bowling pins with concealed knives. You have to wonder, who are you concealing them from?
Yeah, I guess they are Pin Pals, but wouldn't you have a weapon shaped like a bowling ball? I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's a
bowling ball's big and heavy and hard to use as a weapon. They do have a ball on a chain at one point.
Yeah, it's small, but sure. It's a short fight. We're supposed to see how good he is. Mm-hmm. And it's fine, except this is, once again, showing that Americans, do not know how to shoot fighting scenes. Period. Sometimes the Brits don't know how to do it either.
That's too broad. There are some who do. This is just not one of them. It's true. The Hong Kong filmmakers are much better at it. And this is shot very badly because, as you say, Jerry Falcon is pretty good. Definitely. He has some really good moves, but you can't tell because the camera leaps around or gets in too close or gets in from the wrong angle. A lot of these fight scenes make me feel like the cameraman is just trying not to get hit.
That's all they do. There's never any scenes where we're pulled back and we get to watch something. And you may say it's too broad. I literally cannot remember the last time I watched an American film that had a plain old martial arts or fist fight where the camera work was anything but atrocious. They all do the same thing. Huh?
Kill Bill.
How long ago was that? That was 90s.
But you didn't say recent. You just said all American movies.
I can't literally. I'd have to go back to the 60s and 70s to generally find before they started doing this whole camera on a monkey on a big elastic band bull crap that they do. And Bond is just as bad, and those are often done by Brits. There's one, I can't remember which one of the Daniel Craigs we started off with the film, and both Bond and the guys fighting are wearing the same suit. I literally can't tell them apart. Yeah. So it is a thing. And the sad thing is there's plenty of influence, like you just said, from Hong Kong films where they're like, look, we trained really hard for this. We want people to see it. We're going to set the camera here, and then the guys are going to fight, and that's what it's going to be. And no point in this film can I see what the hell he's doing.
My concern, I think the reason for this is I think Jerry Falcon might have been the only one who actually knew how to fight. At the end, this is jumping ahead, when he's up against Death, they do that even more, and they do a lot of unnecessary close-ups, but you can kind of see Death doesn't really know what he's doing. He's doing stage fighting. He's aiming all his sword. I mean, everyone does that, but he's aiming his sword at Buddy's sword, whereas Buddy is at least making the effort to look like he's trying to stab the guy. I don't think whatever the Stefan Gauger, who's the actual physical body of Death, I don't think he knew how to fight.
So basically, hiding lack of skill with bad camera work.
Yeah, that's a lot of it is.
That's not a good sign, is it?
Oh, speaking of the kid, there is a point where for some reason when they're being chased by the Mad Max marauders who just decided to chase them because they're throwing candy at Buddy and the kid. They have some sort of catapult that's launching, I think, big gumballs.
Or jawbreakers or something.
Yeah, something.
I think it's gumballs because he starts blowing bubbles.
He's chewing gum at some point, and he throws the kid in the trunk of the car with a few handfuls of candy, and all I could think was, Spritle! Speed Racer, man. In the trunk of the car with a bunch of candy.
That's because they're missing Chim Chim. That's why we couldn't go there.
Yeah. Chim Chim, the brother they never talked about.
Well, and like the kid's only there as an anchor of guilt. Like he's got nowhere to go, and he makes that noise, and Buddy falls for it, and then he just follows him. Kid doesn't show any interest in playing the guitar, learning the guitar, or
he's not an anchor of guilt. He's a humanizing element. He's supposed to make us think this guy is deep down, despite all his killing and hard ass, that he's a good person. It's good that they tell us that because there's absolutely no way to know otherwise. I mean, what does he do? The first thing he does is, here's a family. Yes, I think they're probably cannibals, but you stay with them. Here's a hostile little person. You belong to him now. He keeps trying to ditch the kid at every opportunity without any concern for the kid's well-being. And I understand why the kid follows him because at least, this one isn't trying to eat me.
Well, yeah, but that sort of goes against your humanizing element theory because it's not very...
I didn't say it worked.
Oh.
But that's why you do stuff like that. You throw a kid in there to show, look, he has a heart under it all. It's like, yeah, except I don't think he does.
So there is a lot of action in this film, as we just commented on. You know what's really missing in this film, which I find very strange? Blood.
There is no blood in this.
No.
It's amazing. I mean, there's all this sword fighting, all this violence. I think someone loses an arm at some point. I think once we see a little bit of blood on the sword blade.
We don't even get a Kirk wipe across the
nope.
Nothing.
When he's shot in the back, I think he has a small stain on his shirt.
Okay.
And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. I don't know if they couldn't afford blood or they wanted to try for a PG rating. I don't know.
It was a really weird choice. I mean,
very strange.
I'm not somebody who needs or wants to see a lot of blood, but if you're going to be violent, and you're not pretending that the violence is something else or you're trying to soften the violence, then why are you excluding the product of the violence? That was another weird directorial choice. One choice that I did like was the music. I thought the music was fun.
Music I don't think it's terribly good, but it's a lot of fun and it fits. It honestly, it kind of elevates this from just being dull to being weird.
I guess we're giving something away there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll disagree. I think the music is good. It's basically Russian rockabilly, which not something I'd ever heard of before, but they play well and it's fun. And there are quotes that are in the movie that are in the soundtrack. And as soon as I heard them again, I remembered them. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh, I remember this. I do not like rock and roll. It is too loud. Things like that. I don't know. I thought the music was one of the better choices the director made in this film.
I gotta say, there are a few one-liners in the dialogue that I enjoyed. If only, again, I can see audiences yelling them out with the characters in the theater like that. Nice tuxedo to die in.
Nice tuxedo to die. That was one of the quotes from the soundtrack. They put it on the album.
And those three weirdos, the ZZ Top wannabes who follow Death around, they're all talking about the boy is his weakness. The boy. The boy makes him very uncool.
Well, they got that part right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they make their voices sound like Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
They sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, I didn't understand that or the
That was very odd. Or I do like The guy says, if I were you, I would run. I said, if you were me, you'd be good looking. The guy, that's not nice.
Yeah. No, it's not. So they should fight now.
Yes.
So we have death, I guess. Is it death?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do see a skull over his face. I don't.
Yeah, but no. Does he just call himself death? Is he supposed to be the manifestation of death? Is he supposed to, in fact, be the manifestation of death metal music? Because he says that all will bow down to heavy metal.
Bow down to the power of heavy metal, which is also on the soundtrack. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously the adversary, and he wants the seat too.
And he also wants the guitar for some reason.
Well, apparently it's I want to say it's a Gibson hollow body. Don't quote me on that. I don't know anything about guitars.
Somebody did say hollow body. I heard that.
Well, it definitely is a hollow body. That much I can tell.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I don't know if it's like that was, maybe that's what Buddy Holly played. I don't know. But maybe it was known as a really great early rock and roll guitar. I don't know. You would think somewhere there's another one. It's not like it says Lucille on it or something, right?
No.
So I don't know, but the thing I was also trying to figure out was, is there anybody else going for this crown, or is it literally these two guys?
Well, given the number of other people that death kills, they must be trying.
Yeah, except he just seems to kill people. But I can't tell if we're supposed to assume that something bad will happen in general if death wins the throne and our hero Buddy doesn't.
No. Oh, except he keeps saying that he'll burn everything down and he'll destroy and everyone. Except then he says everyone will be into heavy metal. Our villain is not very consistent.
No, and neither in a way is the goal. I mean, we're heading towards Lost Vegas. Get it? Lost Vegas?
Lost.
Because nuclear war. Except when we finally see the painting, the city, it looks like it's doing really well.
In fact, it looks like no Las Vegas I've ever seen. It looks somewhere between the Emerald City and one of the sets from Metropolis.
Well, now that you bring up The Wizard of Oz, this movie pulls something at the very end that, I don't know about you, even though we were sitting next to each other when we watched it. I don't know about you, but I was like, excuse me, I have to back up from the mic for this. Oh, come on! Seriously, we're going to pull a Wicked Witch of the West for no particular reason?
Yes, the thing that destroys death is water.
Yeah, because everybody knows how
heavy
dry
metal.
and-
Yes, heavy metal, of course, has been well known to be very arid.
I guess.
I'm sorry, it's like they came to that point in the script and going, okay, how do we beat him? I don't know, he throws water on him. Okay, yeah, sure.
Well,
it's not like Mel Gibson's going to do that in Signs. Yeah, who would do that?
They find out because the kid spits at him because Buddy's gone down again, and it sizzles. And my initial thought was, oh, maybe the kid's actually some sort of like angel or something, like he's got holy spit or whatever. No, it's literally
An
just
angel
water.
of rock!
No. He literally just takes out his squirty bottle of water, and that's the end of death. It's like, no, I mean, he doesn't say, no, what a world, but he might as well. And then he disappears. Hey, the villain's gone. Spoiler. Then Buddy disappears.
Uh-huh.
And we're left with just the kid to go on to Las Vegas. Now, he takes the sword and the guitar, but
And
what?
the clothes.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand because the clothes don't come anywhere near to fitting him and just look silly.
I mean, I guess we're supposed to...
He doesn't know how to use the sword. He doesn't know how to use the guitar. I don't know why he's taking them, unless he's like, I will go to Las Vegas and find a guitar teacher.
Well, there's nothing safer in Las Vegas than a child on their own.
Yeah, with a valuable guitar and a sword that he doesn't know how to use.
I thought it was a really, again, odd directorial choice to kill off the hero that we don't really care much about at the end of the film. And
it's supposed to be tragic? Or the idea that the kid now is, Buddy 2.0?
I mean, how long is that going to last? I mean, the only plot of this movie, because it is thinner than the air in the desert, is we need to get to Las Vegas so I can be the rock and roll god. That's literally all this is. It's not even, it's not really a road movie. There's no road. It's not really a buddy movie. Well, I guess it is because there's a buddy in it. But it's literally, I need to go and do this thing. And then the movie says, yeah, we're not doing that. It's like, but I just, 90 minutes, but the blue meanies.
Yeah.
What did you think of that directorial choice for the ending?
I think they were either trying, like, ooh, we're going to be ironic. Because there are movies like that where the hero dies in the end and the idea is the next generation moves on and hopefully has learned. The other problem, though, is usually the hero is older. I mean, Buddy in this looks pretty young.
Yeah.
And is like worn out and tired of life and tired of fighting. And Buddy, he doesn't have to go to Las Vegas. There's nothing making him. It's not like he's avenging something or that he doesn't even know much about this Death guy. It's like, it doesn't seem like he would care if Death became the king of Las Vegas. He's just like, no, I'm going to go there because I want to. And now I'm dead.
He wants to take over for Elvis. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's a commentary on the idea, like you said, that there's a lot of people that think if Buddy Holly had not died tragically when he was young, he might have been the big deal of rock and roll. Don't know. If that's the case, I guess his death here is just mirroring the plane crash for reasons.
Maybe.
I don't know.
This is another version of the day the music died. I don't know.
I don't understand. I understand sacrifice with heroes. I am of the opinion that there should not be a clean ending to any hero story, which is one of the reasons that I like How to Train Your Dragon so much. Because the film said, you know what? He completed this, but he's got to pay for something. It has to count. And it has to be permanent. None of this, oh, look, you're alive again. Yay. At the end. And so Hiccup loses a leg. And it works out really well because not only did he have to give something up to get where he needed to go, but in a way it brings him closer to Toothless, whom he wounded in the first place, and also has something missing. And I'm sure this meant a lot to kids who maybe have that disability, where it's like, hey, there's somebody like me on the screen, and look, we can still do stuff just like Hiccup does. I loved that of that film.
Yeah, that was a really nice touch.
But the golden medal and everything's perfect and exactly back the way it was. So I get it. I like there to be payment. The problem is I like there to be payoff too.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we get any.
Not really. I even found the final battle kind of unsatisfying. I liked initially how their battle was just musical. It was a guitar duel. And then it's like, nope, we got to fight. It's like, oh, come on. This was actually a cool idea.
Yeah.
You could literally defeat him with the power of your rockin', squibbly flabbly doo.
Yeah.
And no, it's got to be hitting each other. Badly.
I mean, I could even see if it was a case where they started off that way. Death loses. Death won't accept the defeat, and then he goes and attacks him, and so on and so forth. The problem is, of course, is that as little as we care about Buddy, we care nothing about Death because most of the stuff that's being done is done for him by his 3 flunkies.
And he has no face. He has no personality. We don't know who or what he is. His motivations are pretty alien to us until he says he wants heavy metal to dominate. In which case I'm going, wait, isn't that the plot of Trolls 2 World Tour?
I hope, well, of course it couldn't be because it hasn't happened yet, but.
Yes. But I really hope the director, whoever wrote the Trolls World Tour, wasn't drawing from this.
What if he was and he made something slightly better?
Yeah.
I have a question. Something just occurred to me. What if the character of Death was Death? What if Death had been haunting Buddy the whole time, and now there's some tension because if Buddy can make it to Las Vegas, he can maybe, he'll survive.
That would be interesting.
I know.
That would be a lot more interesting, but there isn't even a hint of that. No. I mean, they sort of say, yeah, he's Death. It's like, but there's nothing to suggest that he really is the anthropomorphic manifestation of Death. It's just he's a guy in a crazy outfit who's probably sweating his ass off out in the desert.
Yeah, so what if he is the personification of Death, and what's happening is it's approaching our universe's time when Buddy Holly died. And the whole point is if this buddy can get to Las Vegas, having whatever metaphor you want to use, before death catches up with him, then history will change.
See, you just wrote a better movie.
I know. I literally didn't even think of this until we started doing this show. And it's like, that I think would have been kind of cool. What if there had been commentary on the real world and using this alternative universe to do that?
Just if they had tried to add even a little more depth.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of this is supposed to just be goofy fun, except it's not particularly goofy. It's not particularly fun. Except, I got to admit, I liked the Cleaver family.
What did
I
you
thought
really?
that I liked the potential. I didn't like what they actually did with it. I thought that got stupid. But the idea of these people who have clearly latched onto this Leave It to Beaver idea of the way things are, and the delusion is so strong that they don't even recognize how they've perverted it by becoming cannibals. I thought that could have been really good. I thought that could have been really creepy and funny at the same time, and it was another wasted opportunity.
I certainly like the way you described it.
Yeah, the fact that the guy's walking around with his golf clubs, most of which are missing, and that he keeps dropping. He's all of them clearly out of their minds. The children, they could have done more with the children. I thought they tried to make them just sort of creepy Addams Family-ish, but didn't do anything with it. A lot of this movie is missed opportunities. Here's something that confused me. They run into the cult of the windmill. First off, I have no idea what these guys worship. They walk around in environmental suits. I don't know what that has to do with windmills. And they worship the windmill god, who sounds like an AM DJ, who we hear twice and then never see. What the hell was that?
I can't even guess. I didn't know we had windmill farms as early as 98. They look well established in the film, but I don't know. There's a lot of things that just seem to be stuff thrown at the screen to slow down the hero. And there's times when you can get movies that have a cult status, like The Warriors, like you mentioned, which, let's face it, there's not a lot of depth in that film either, and I haven't seen it in decades, and it probably doesn't hold up. But we remember the Baseball Furies, and we remember The Warriors, and it was a very similar, simple goal. We just need to get home. That's it. Because people have accused us of something we didn't do. Everyone hates us. We don't want to die. Let's get home. And it's a movie of icons. That's all it is. It's not really characters. And when one or two of the Warriors die, we're sort of like, oh, that's too bad. And sometimes that works. Sometimes people really glom onto that, and you get these films that are made for $0, and suddenly there's this fan base, and people just glom onto it for something. Sometimes it's nothing more than the visuals. It's nothing more than just a simple idea as proposed in this film that's worked its way to the top. And I think this is meant to be one of those films. The question is it? Do you want to get there?
Let's get there. The Finish.
So, Max, you've never heard of it.
Nope.
And you'd never seen it before.
Nope.
Well, I know when you saw it because I was sitting there.
Yep.
So what do you think? This is going to be
I think this
huge
is pretty
shock.
bad. I think this is a pretty bad movie. The sad thing is, I think it could have been a lot of fun. I think if people are into it as a cult film, it's because they see what it could have been. It doesn't work for me. I think every level of it, the cinematography is bad, the acting is non-existent, the writing is incredibly inconsistent and weak. I mean, the whole thing at the end when he kills Top Hat, that he killed Top Hat, and they look at the kid and go, "If you ever need a band, call us." Really? So wait, so he's both the new buddy and the new No, it doesn't make sense. There's no internal consistency. It just seems like, let's just throw a lot of crap at the screen. The soundtrack is the only thing that's interesting. I'm assuming we're kind of on the same page here.
Yeah. I mean, one of my notes was the thinnest of threads connects unending fight scenes.
Yeah.
And it's like, literally, we just have to go, we have to keep moving this way. That's it. Oh, look, another fight scene. Okay, we need to move west or this direction. Oh, look, another fight scene. This film is trying so hard to be a cult film. Like, we want this film to be the kind of film that people go to conventions and they dress up.
We want this to be a boy and his dog or something. Yeah,
and more than that though, because I'm not even sure anybody remembers that one so much. It wants to be that kind of film, and there's just nothing there. It's relying way too heavily on visuals of literally what I think this film is literally. What if Buddy Holly had a katana and a guitar? That's literally it. That's all there is to it.
Katana, if you will.
Oh, thankfully he doesn't actually. Yeah, he does hit people with it occasionally though, which I was like, don't do that.
Yeah. And he doesn't make a single "this is why they call me El Kabong" joke.
This film desperately wants to be cool, and it just doesn't know how.
Yeah. No.
It's very badly choreographed. And I can't say it's badly choreographed. It's very badly photographed during the fight scenes. We can't see what's going on. We don't know anything about any of the characters. The only character who survives is the one that we've been praying would die the entire film.
Yeah, we could do without Spritle.
The pacing is nearly non-existent. This movie goes nowhere slowly. For as much action as that was in the film, I just was like, this 90 minutes feels like 3 hours. Like it was. They keep trying
to throw in characters that people will become fans of, like you say, like the Tag Kid. Keeps going, Tag, you're it. Even when he's got an arrow stuck in his back, for some reason he's not dead. We don't know why.
Well, I was happy when he got shot too. I was like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Because he's annoying. I can't. And I think there's a thing in the credits that said, thank you to all the people who believed in us. And I'm like, wow, I wish they believed in you enough to go, dude, I just want to offer you some criticism, a little critique here to maybe help your film out. Can I make some suggestions? Because, dear gods, there's nothing. There's nothing. And I get why I'm supposed to like it. And often this type of film, I do.
This one did not work for me. I like some of the weird offbeat ones, but they've got to have more to them. They've got to have something to bring you into them.
I mean, hell, I like Hudson Hawk. That's what this wants to be. It wants to be that kind of movie that's just like weird
kind
and
of goofy, kind of out there.
And that most people don't like, but there's still a core group of people that just like that film.
Like Buckaroo Banzai.
That's exactly what it wants to be. It wants to be Buckaroo Banzai, and it's not even close.
Nope, does not, man.
Sorry, Tyler. Maybe you haven't watched it in a while? Don't know. We still appreciate the suggestion, though.
We do, as we appreciate all of your suggestions.
Yeah.
But we also appreciate, if not more, your answers to our poll question.
Neat.
And I would like to know, what is your favorite What If This Happened alternate history movie? Something like this. Something like, I don't know, the things suggested in the Philadelphia Experiment. Even The Man in the High Castle, or What If the Nazis Had Won the War, stuff like that. And you can tell us by emailing us at maxmikemovies.com or going to our website, maxmikemovies.com, and leaving a comment. You can also find us on Foxbat, which
Facebook,
whatever, under Max Mike Movies. You can we post the question there. You can answer it there. We are also on Blue Sky. We will post the question there. You can answer it there. If you were on Blue Sky, if you're not on Blue Sky, you're somewhere else. Can we come? Could you just tell us the secret?
Yeah.
Where are you? Where is everybody?
We're noticing a distinct drop-off in poll question answers, which may have to do with the poll question, but I think a lot of people are just sort of tapped out. So, yeah. Hey, you know what? Might be at some point we decide that the poll questions had, run its course, but we really like hearing from you, so we'll keep going as long as you keep going. But what other way can they get in touch with us?
Well, they can find us on the podcast app of their choice.
No. What other way can they get in touch with us?
In touch with us? Gee, I don't know. What other way is there? There's no possible other way. Every other way is possibly blocked.
You're stalling so you can look up the phone number, aren't you? 617-398-7266 is our hotline number.
No, 317, Bob, what you said.
617-398-7266. Give us a call, leave us a message, say hi to Doris while you're there, or, hey.
Hey, stay away from Doris. She's mine.
Yeah. And hey, Cheese Boy sometimes leaves us messages too. So
Yes, he does.
yeah, we like to hear about anything you have in mind about our show.
We do. And speaking of our show, we're still going on this series because you guys gave us so many cool suggestions. What's the next cool suggestion, Mike?
Well, next week, our suggestion comes from Keith Wright, the one of the actors, I should say, of that amazingly well-known and second greatest podcast in the universe, Q Footsteps. Take a guess at what number one is.
Looks more like number 2, if you know what I mean.
What does he mean?
I'll tell you later. It's disgusting.
Yes, Keith Wright. He gave us a couple of suggestions, and one of them, actually neither of them I'd heard of, but one of them sounded intriguing. It's called Brother to Brother. And I know almost nothing about this film. I believe it has something to do with a young black writer coming across an older black writer who was part of the Harlem Renaissance, about which I know very little. And so I'm hoping this film will educate me a little bit. But it sounded really intriguing, and that's why we asked you to give us some ideas for films that we should watch and review. So next week, Brother to Brother, and its sequel, To Brother to Brother to Brother.
No, the sequels were Cousin to Cousin, Second Cousin to Second Cousin, College Roommate to Dentist.
I'm pretty
Honestly,
sure.
I think this series kind of petered out after a while.
Speaking of petered out, I'm glad you joined us for this episode, and it's now petered out.
This has been a co-production of The Voice of Max and The Movie Wrench.